Mikaela, all right, I gotta ask you this. Your first run start, you came out guns a-blazing from the get-go and were up to full speed. Was that an attitude adjustment? Was that strategy? Was that just pent-up emotion? I mean, that was a dominant start.
Yeah, I'd say that start was a little bit of all the things you just said, actually. Definitely it was an attitude that I wanted to take into today because also yesterday, but I knew last year I struggled in the first, going into the first intermediate. I was always a little bit behind, and I really wanted to make sure I sort of made a statement in the first intermediate, not to everybody else, but just to myself, to start off with a really good pace and then to pick it up from there. And I caught myself a little bit by surprise, but it worked really well, and it was a good mentality, and I stayed fairly balanced the whole way, so it ended up being a really good first run, I'd say.
What does having these races in Killington mean for the Ladies World Cup circuit, the promotion of skiing throughout the world? What does Killington mean in the grand scheme of things to that?
Yeah, I mean, we saw it last year coming here and how big the crowd was, how loud everybody was cheering, the media surrounding it. The whole event was really, really special. And then this year, I think you guys outdid yourselves. It was really incredible. And today, hearing everybody cheering from the start for both runs and just feeling like, and I came to this press conference before the GS, and I said I wanted to make a connection with the crowd through my skiing, and I feel like I was able to do that. But it wasn't only because of me. It's sort of a two-way conversation, if that makes sense. And you have to feel the crowd in order to be able to connect with the crowd, and I could really do that here, which is something that I don't feel very often. So that was really, really cool.
We'll open it up to the floor. Question here.
Mikaela, great shoes.
Thank you.
You know, Sophie Gauchier said something really interesting on Friday night. She said, we know how much pressure Mikaela is under coming here. And in just a few minutes that you've been here, you seem rather bubbly. Is this relieving a burden again? You did come here, you want to impress, you don't want to let anybody down. Fair to say now that you've got it behind you?
Yeah, there's definitely a bit of a relief feeling. You know, today I was thinking sort of the whole day that I wanted to be aggressive, but also, like, sometimes I think, like, don't screw this up. And after the first run, I was in a really good position, and I thought, this is a time when normally people would be like, oh, I can take my foot off the gas, and then, you know, you lose a 8/10 lead over Wendy or a 1.4 second lead over Petra or something like that, and it's like, wow, that was a really bad second run. And that's what people remember after it. So I was thinking today, like, I have to have the same, sorry, my stomach is making noises. I have to have the same mentality as the first run, just be a little bit more smart because it wasn't quite as smooth, but otherwise I try to have the same mentality and sort of just let it fly. When I ski really good slalom, it almost feels like I'm flying, and I had a bit of that feeling both runs today, which was a really good feeling to have, because, you know, sometimes it's like you're hacking it up and it just feels so bad. And then you like get to the finish and you're just thankful that you're still alive. So that wasn't the feeling I had today. I really enjoyed that, and I hope that it showed.
Can you tell us about your boots?
I just like the color. I like shiny things. I was at a store in France last season and had a little splurge. It was a shoe store, and I went a little overboard, and these bad boys had the pleasure of being bought by me.
Gabby?
My understanding is that Mike Day, your coach, has been dealing with a injury for a few weeks. So how has that affected your training leading up to today, and when do you expect to have it on the team?
So he was able to join us again. He had to leave basically at Solden, right after Solden, he left to go home to have, I don't know how much of this is out there, and I don't want to speak for him, but he had to go home to have surgery, and he actually was able to come back for these races yesterday and today. Basically just came right in for these races, and actually we have a joke on our team whenever somebody has to go home and come back, and there's like a re-entry process because we're together so often that we get really, really strange. If somebody if you were to look at us from the outside, you'd be like, oh god. So he came right in, and it worked really well. It was amazing to have him back. I love the team that I have between Mike, Jeff, my other coach, Lindsay, my mom, Kim, my serviceman. The way that we all work together when we're all there and we're all like healthy and ready to go, it's really awesome. And they help me deal with the stress and the everyday pressure of, wanting to perform. But anyway, to answer your question, he'll be actually, we'll see. It looks like he's feeling really good right now. So hopefully sooner rather than later. But like I said, I want everybody with me, but I want them healthy. And so they can work at full capacity and I can work at full capacity. And I don't want to see anybody working in pain at all. And it's really good to see him back without pain.
Question here?
Yeah, Mikaela. Hey, another 1-2 with you and Petra. I think we're going to be talking a lot about that rivalry. Can you tell us how it came about that you guys trained together recently, and I guess how much did you train together, where it was, and did you have any reservations about training with somebody who beat you in the last race?
Well, actually, I trained with her before Levy. So it was just, we were in Levy in Finland. It's not a very big place. And it was just sort of the training that was provided by the race, the organizing committee prior to the race. And I showed up a couple of days before the race. She was already there, and we had a couple of sessions where we trained together. And actually, it was really good for me because I saw how fast she was already, and I was like, oh, great. She's going to be pushing me harder and harder and harder all year long. And, in Levy, I was almost like a deer in the headlights because I hadn't really felt one particular person who was that really pushing me that hard like she was in those training sessions. And then I haven't skied with her up until today in the race, but I did feel like I got some good training. I pulled things back together with my slalom skiing, brought a little bit more discipline back into it, found a really balanced stance, and then went into this race and I was able to actually put that skiing out there, which was very satisfying to do. But Petra it's going to be a really cool rivalry actually this year because first of all, from what I've seen, she's a great person. I respect everything that she's said to me. She really wants to win, and she works really hard for it, and it's not like anybody else doesn't, but I see something different in her that it makes me want to be better, if that makes sense. Not just to win races, but actually to hold myself to a higher standard of skiing. So it's really cool to compete with someone who does that.
Alexander from Cronin.
Can you compare the emotions to last year? Was it as sweet as last year? Was it different?
I'd say this was sweeter than last year. It's almost like Groundhog's Day in a way, but last year I was really nervous and almost like incapacitated by my nerves, and this year I felt like my nerves were more fuel for my skiing, and that's the way that I like, because I'm normally nervous for races, but I didn't feel like I totally froze in the race today, and that's how I like to race, so it was definitely sweeter. And then again, to see my family, to have them all come up on the podium and take a picture after the race, and it's really hard to tell you guys how that feels, but I'm a family person, so that was incredible.
Right here, NBC.
Mikaela, just going back to the Petra thing, did you take anything away from her, like on the slopes, any tips like that? And then off the slopes, do you have any like fun stories about getting to know her or anything like that?
Well, I haven't really spent a lot of time with her off the slopes, but that would be a good title for something. Just a hint, the Petra thing. I just can see it in quotation marks. Anyway, the first real like personal encounter I had with her was when I was training with her in Levy before the race, and she came up to me, and it was like pretty intense with both of us. She would have a really fast run, and then I would have a really fast run, and then she would get me on some of the top splits, and I would get her then, and it was like I could feel the tension on the hill. And after training, she just came up to me and she like put her hand on my shoulder and said, "Thank you so much for the training because you're pushing me and that's really, really cool." And I was like fuming because I hate training with anybody who's even close to me. And so then she said that and I was like, come on, it's like competing against Roger Federer. You want to hate him, but you can't. I'm like, well, that was really nice of you to say. But, but I still want to beat you. So that was my first real like encounter with her, and that's what sort of set the tone and made me feel like, okay, this girl's working hard. She's skiing with discipline. She's focusing on, in my opinion, the right things, and it's showing in her skiing, and that's really cool, and it reminds me of how I like to work. So kudos to her, and I'm just gonna try to do better. See what happens.
Over here.
Just one follow-up on that. Did she say the Roger Federer line, or did you say the Roger Federer line?
I just said that now. I didn't say that to her in the conversation. That was now in the moment.
Over here.
Mikaela, you talked a lot about your mental game and how you feel like that's improving. Was there one bit of advice, one mantra, or one thing that you're doing differently that you feel has helped?
There's not one thing that I'm doing. What's going on over there? You watching a football game? Pull yourself together. I'm talking. There was not one thing that I did that made a huge difference. It's sort of a culmination of things, and like sometimes I wake up and I just feel like nervous. I feel like there's this dark cloud that's just sort of all around me, and I can't see anyone else. I can't hear anyone else. I know, like, logically all I have to do is ski, and I know how to ski, but it makes it really difficult. It feels like I lost my feeling. It feels like I can't breathe. It feels like last year I was puking before races when I had this feeling. And I still get it sometimes, but I haven't puked, which is a good step in the right direction. Keeping all my food down. And I'm starting to find a way to control it, sort of like picture the cloud, and then it's like I'm able to blow it away. And that's helping me. And I'm not sure exactly how to describe it. It's not one thing. I'm talking, my mom helps, my team helps. Skiing well also helps. I have a sports psychologist who's helping me as well. But otherwise, it's just trying to find a way to believe in myself, even if I don't feel totally confident.
A couple more questions over here.
Mikaela, I know coming up the next few weeks, there's a big speed component coming up on the World Cup. How's your prep for that going? Do you feel confident going into those? And which of those races are you focusing on? Any of them, or? Yeah.
So right now I'm planning to do the 2 downhills in Lake Louise. Right, it is 2 downhills, right?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know what's going on. 2 downhills in Super G. I don't really have a main focus with whether it's downhill or Super G. Just getting more time on that track since I've been there a couple times now. I feel like I have a good shot at putting out a good performance, but I'm still very fresh on, on the speed circuit. So every ounce of experience I get on the longboards is really important, and I'm just trying to bank on time and bank on miles skiing speed so that in the future I can go into races competitive and feeling confident. I do feel confident on my skis right now, on the speed skis, and I'm really looking forward to Lake Louise, but you know, things like bad weather, or if a cloud rolls in right when I go for my run and it's dark, those are the kinds of things that might deter me from skiing very aggressively when it might not deter somebody who's been on the speed side for a long time. So I don't have huge expectations, but I know that when I ski well, I can be really fast.
Question here.
It wouldn't have been that long ago that you could have been a kid in the crowd out here. You saw a lot of them this weekend. I wonder if you see any of yourself in the kids that you're signing autographs for, and you remember looking up to World Cup athletes.
Yeah, for sure I see myself in those kids, and I do feel a really distinct connection with fans, whether it's in here or it's in Europe or in Aspen or Squaw Valley or wherever it is, especially with the kids and especially with the young ones who are shy. I was pretty shy, and if it's, you know, the ones who are like kind of looking up at you and like their hats sort of covering their eyes and they're like, oh hi, that was sort of me. And I try to look for those kids because I feel like they're always the ones who are not going to ask for something, and maybe they're the ones who deserve it the most. So, but at any point, I mean, it's so cool to be part of a sport where the fans are so enthusiastic and they want to see me succeed, but they also just want to make a connection. And that's something that I'm going to keep talking about this season, is not so much winning for the fans, but making a connection with the fans through my skiing.
And in conjunction with that, I think we have a special presentation. There's Gabriella in the room. Come on up.
Hey, buddy. Talking about a shy fan, I wanted to give you my flowers. So just so you guys know a little bit of the backstory, this is a girl who's had a difficult year. Her mom might be in the back crying right now. And I just wanted to tell you and tell your mom and your family and everybody to keep chugging along. Sometimes it gets tough. I probably don't know half of what you're dealing with, but I'm really proud of you, and I'm really proud of your little smile and how bashful you are and how humble you are, and that's inspiring for me. And days like today, when I feel like I'm on top of the world, you're the kind of person who brings me down to earth, and that's a really, really important quality to have. So thank you.
And on that note, we will let Mikaela go. She has, unfortunately, a lot of obligations.